A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to class 11th Business Studies. We are doing the chapter number 2, Forms of Business Organizations, and we have already covered 4 forms of business organizations. We have done sole proprietorship, then partnership, then Hindu undivided family business, then cooperative societies. And in the last class, we started joint stock company, where the meaning and characteristics or features of joint stock company we had already completed. If I talk about the meaning, I told you that a joint stock company is an association of persons. Association means it's a group of persons who have formed to carry on the business activities. And of course, it has a legal status. Joint stock company has a legal status because it has been registered under the Companies Act 2013. So whenever you go for joint stock company, you register your joint stock company according to the act which have been allotted to companies, which have been made for the companies. And the act is Joint Stock Companies, the Companies Act 2013. Earlier also it was registering, but the companies were registered earlier times with the Companies Act 1956. But in the 2013, when the act was revised, so now the companies are basically working as per Companies Act 2013. First feature we did that it is an artificial person. Artificial person means it is not a natural person, like natural person can eat, they can walk, but at least it is an artificial person. Being an artificial person, the company can make a contract with anybody. Like company can purchase various things, various goods, company can purchase various assets by its own name, because company has a power to sign the contract. Then second feature we did, separate legal entity. That company is a separate legal entity, which means it is distinct from its members. So it has a separate legal entity. Its assets and liabilities are separate from those of its owners, because company is of course owned and controlled by the board of directors who have been elected by the members only. So whatever decision board of directors will be taking, all the decision mutually would be depending upon the company, but company has a separate legal entity because it is created by law. When it is created by law, definitely I would say that it has a separate legal entity. It is distinct from its members. Its assets are different from its members. Formation. Who formed the company? Of course, the company is being formed by the board of creation of law. It is a creation of law. So law basically forms the company. And also along with that, it's a very lengthy process to form a company, as there are various steps to be followed. Various steps we have to follow for the formation of company, and it's a time consuming process, expensive process, and of course a complicated process. Then fourth we did is perpetual succession, where I told you perpetual succession is also one of the important feature of company, as members may come, members may go, but it is not going to affect the continuity of the business. So when we're talking about perpetual succession, we simply say that company is having in such a position that it is a creation of law. So law is only there who is going to end up or wind up the company also. Nobody else can wind up. Even though everybody is found died, every member is being died from the company, then also company will run in its own way, because it has created by law. So only law has the power to ultimately, clear out. Your law has the power to ultimately wind up the company also. Then control. Who has a control? Companies in company, the management and control lies in the hands of board of directors. So ultimately there are board of directors who have been elected by the members of the company only, and they people ultimately have a complete control. They people have in the top management, and they people take all the decisions related to company. But tell me, who is going to sign the contracts of the company on company's behalf? Whether company itself will be signing the contract, or there would be the board of directors who will be signing the contract. Of course, the company itself would be signing the contract. I told you, company is an artificial person. That means company has a right, company has a power to sign its own contract, but in a way that company has the common seal. Company must have the common seal. Continuity is same as perpetual succession. The continuity of the company is not being hindered, or it's not being, made a problem by the anybody, any member of the company, because the continuity lies in the hands of the company itself. As members may come, members may go, members may increase, members may decrease, but it is not going to affect the continuity of the business. The continuity would be running as long as the company wants or the law wants. Common seal we did. Common seal is basically the common signatures of the company. There is, if there is a company is having a common seal, then definitely company is going to affix that seal on the documents, which are the agreements of the company. So whenever company has to make the sign, company will be signing the contract with the common seal only, but provided that company must have the common seal. In case if the company doesn't have its own common seal, in that case the board of directors can make a contract on the behalf of company, and they can sign the contract, and it will be applicable or liable to all. Risk bearing, who bears the risk? Obviously the risk is borne by all the shareholders or all the members, but what will be their liability? What will be the liability of the members? The liability of the members will be limited in this case. उनकी liability जो है इस case में limited होगी, because if suppose I have purchased the share of 1000 from a company, then what will be the maximum amount that I can liable to? Definitely I'll be liable with only 1000 rupees. मैं सिर्फ 1000 के लिए ही liable रहूंगा, because my membership in the company lies only with the 1000 rupees. So these were the characteristics of joint stock company. Let us now study the merits of joint stock company. अब हम पढ़ते हैं जरा merits क्या है joint stock company के. But the first merit of joint stock company is limited liability. I told you already. I think we have covered the merits also. That joint stock company in the membership, the members of the joint stock company are having the limited liability. Limited liability means they would be having just a limited liability in case that they have to pay some of the debts to the company, or they have to make the payment to the company. Definitely they'll make the payment to the company only with the amount which they are liable to with, and they're liable to with only shareholding amount, that the share they have purchased. Second is transfer of interest. In the company, transfer of ownership is very easy. Transfer of ownership is very easy in the case of company. How? Like the share of a public limited company can be sold in the market, and as such can be in case the need arises. But everyone just open your camera, everyone. So I can clearly say that transfer of interest is actually very, very important and very, very easy in the company, right? But the question arises, how transfer of interest is an easy? We can easily sell out. We can easily sell out the share in the market. For example, if I talk about that one share is lying with Mr. A in the market, then Mr. A definitely can sell out the share to the people who wants to purchase it. Let me give you one more example. Let's suppose if I say that there is one company, that is Reliance Industries. Let's take the example of Reliance Industries. Now we all know that Reliance Industry is that company which is ultimately having a good reputation, a good share value in the market. And when that company is having a good share value or good reputation in the market, we simply observe that if I have purchased the share of Reliance Industries, I would definitely, like to hold that share with me. Why I would like to hold that share with me? I would like to hold that share with me because that share is going to give me a lot of money in future, because I feel like that the reputation of the company is so good that in the future, definitely the share value would be increasing. So I hold that with me. When I hold that with me, one more thing I do observe. What? That if suppose I want to sell that share in the, sell that share in the market, it is very much easy to sell the share to the other people. Why? Because the company is giving one of the merit to its shareholder, that transfer of interest is possible. That transfer of interest is possible, and the shares can be converted into cash in case of need arises. Suppose I have already invested in shares of Reliance Industries for rupees 5 lakhs. But at a certain point of time, I do require my cash, because I just don't want to carry on the investment, because I need some more money in cash form. Now, what will happen in that case? In that case, it is very much easy to transfer that ownership to somebody else, because we have a share market. We have a complete market with us. We can easily share. We can easily sell those shares in that market very easily and get the cash, grab the cash out of it. So the second merit of joint stock company is transfer of interest. You can easily transfer your shares. You can easily sell the shares in the market, and you can have the complete cash which you want from the market. And that is only and only possible in the joint stock company. That is only and only possible in the joint stock company, because ultimately in the joint stock company we have a merit of transfer of interest very easily. Third is perpetual succession. The third merit of the joint stock company is the perpetual succession. I told you in the characteristics also that the company, joint stock company, is having the perpetual succession. Perpetual existence or perpetual succession means member may come, member may go, but it is not going to affect the continuity of the business. For example, Reliance Industries are having a lot of members worldwide. A lot of members are there worldwide. Like suppose if I have purchased 5 shares of Reliance Industries, then I am also the member of that company. I am also the owner of that company up to the 5 shares which I have invested. For example, if we 60 people are there in the meeting, and out of those 60 people, if we 50 have already invested in Reliance Industries, suppose one of us have invested rupees 1 lakh, one of us, the other one has invested rupees 3 lakhs, or the other one has invested even rupees 200, then also we all will be counted as a member of the company only. We all will be the owner of the company only, provided I would be the owner for 1 lakh if I have invested 1 lakh, or the other one have invested for rupees suppose 3 lakh, he would be the owner of 3 lakh. If other one has invested for rupees 200, he would be owner of 200, which means we all are members. It would not be affected by the death, retirement, resignation, insolvency, or insanity of its members. Any member may come, any member may go, but it is not going to affect the continuity of the joint stock company. Whether a person is died, whether the retirement is being taken, whether the person has resigned, whether that has become insolvent, means his assets are less than the liabilities, or whether he has become insane from his mind. That insane means he is not in a position to take out the good decisions. Then definitely in all those cases, company's continuity will not be affected. I give you one example, bete. This is a real example of India, and after this example, after this judgment only, the company's law 1956 passed out one judgment for the perpetual existence. Please, everybody will listen very carefully. In West Bengal, there was a company whose annual general meeting was going on. Annual general meeting means AGM, that every company has to hold one AGM, right? Every company has to hold one AGM every year. The company will be calling all the members for attending the AGM, because the company has to take a lot of decisions, and everybody would be participating in that, and everyone will be coming and giving their decisions to company. So the company was holding AGM at West Bengal, and not exactly at West Bengal, but a very deeper inside the West Bengal, at very remote area. It was just holding the company. It was just holding the AGM. The place where the AGM was going on, there were some tribal people living at that place. They thought of that if many people are coming for the, and company was not knowing that tribal people are also there at that remote area. When the company was having the AGM, the tribal people attacked all the members, those who were in the company that time, those who were at the AGM that time. And all people, all the members died at that time. All the members died at the same point of time. But the members who did not attend the AGM, those who were not in the AGM, they were of course alive. Otherwise, all those members who were in the AGM, they all got died. कोर्ट में गया केस. Many members said that our board of directors are, good reputed members. The members who invested more, they all, they all have died now. The court made a judgment. Listen to the judgment very clear, and please write down the judgment in your notebook, because this is one of the feature of your company only that you can write in the example. The court made a judgment that any member may come, any member may go. I repeat, any member may come, any member may go, but it is not going to affect the continuity of the company. It is not going to affect the continuity of the company. But this is called perpetual existence. This is called perpetual existence, which means because the company is created by law, then only law has a right to wind up that company. Then only law has a right to wind up that company. Okay, sir, you must be having one query. Sir, if suppose there is a bomb blast at the AGM, all the members, now sir, nobody is left, not even a single member of the company is left. All members were died by the bomb blast. Will the company still work, sir? Of course, as I just told, it is created by law, then only law has a right to end up this company. That means if it is made as per the Companies Act 2013 or any previous act such as Companies Act 1956, if it is made as per the Companies Act, if it is created by law, then only and only law is going to end up that company. When law will see now there is nothing and now the company cannot run, then only law is going to wind up, but would not be winded up automatically. Law is going to wind up that company. Law wind up karega beta us company ko, apne aap kabhi bhi company wind up nahi hogi. If you have any doubt in this point or any other previous point, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll move to the next one. Now, the fourth point which you see as a merit is scope for expansion. Scope for expansion. Now, you people tell me, do we have a great scope of expansion in sole proprietorship? Do we have a great scope of expansion in sole proprietorship, which we studied? Not at all. Very good, everyone. Tanya, Daksh, Mridul, and so many answers. Satakshi, everybody is saying no. Very good. There is no scope because I told you that there is only one person who is holding the complete sole proprietorship business. Now let us talk about the second. Do we have a great scope of expansion in Hindu undivided family form of business? Do we have great scope of expansion in Hindu undivided family business? Please tell with the reason. Those who are writing no, please write with the reason. Very good, Hardik, Sia. Because we simply see that there is only ancestral property and we are just working till the ancestral property. That means scope of expansion is little less. Third, do we have a scope of expansion in partnership business? When there are 2 or maybe suppose 20 partners maximum, do we have a scope of expansion, a lot of scope of an expansion in that case too? Very good. Answer is no. Reason? Limited members of partnership, because there are not much members in the partnership. Limited members are there. So scope of expansion is also limited in that case. Now, fourth point. Do we have a scope of expansion in our fourth form of business? That was cooperative society. Limited capital was there by all the members. Very good. No scope of expansion in that case too. Ria, I would like to ask you now. You tell me, do we have a scope of expansion in joint stock company? What have you observed from our 4 points until this point?
Yes, sir, we have a scope of expansion in this because we can include as many members as we can in joint stock company.
Very good, Ria. We can include as many as members in the joint stock company. I told you, each one of us can be the member in the public company if we want to buy shares. There is no restriction over maximum members in the company. That is why we simply see that scope for expansion in joint stock company is so high, because the company has large financial resources, because the company have a lot of members associated with it. And when the company has a lot of members associated with this, definitely company is in a position to manage the large scale business, because company would be able to grab the resources from different sources, and definitely company would be in a position to get it done through many people. I hope this is clear. And of course, I have compared it with the previous forms of businesses also. I've just compared it with the previous forms of businesses also, so that you should be able to know and compare that what is the difference in company and what was it, how it is different from the other sources of business. All right. I would like to Ria to please read this point. Ria, एक बार ये point read करिए Ria.
Scope for expansion. A company has large financial resources. Further, capital can be attracted from the public as well as through loans from banks and financial institutions. Thus, there is greater scope for expansion.
Yes. So the scope of expansion will simply say is more as compared to the other forms of businesses, because we can manage a lot of resources in the company. Now let's have the next one. Professional management. A company can pay higher salaries to the specialist, because company is in a position to we just did that company is in a position to get the various resources with itself, manage the long-term resources. So company can afford to pay the higher salaries to the specialists and professionals. It can therefore employ people who are experts in their area of specialization. So if suppose company wants to take any decision, company can call out various people for the for taking up the decisions, and company can pay them higher salaries, and it would be very easy to call people for the taking the decisions. Next, limitations of joint stock company. We do have some limitations also in the joint stock company, some demerits also. Like first is complexity in formation. Complexity in formation means it is very difficult to form a company. Why? Because it takes a lot of time, effort, knowledge, and of course very legal formalities. A lot of legal formalities we have to make, and a lot of documents have to be prepared. So we will simply say that it is very difficult to start the company, because there is a complete process which we will be doing in the next chapter, that how the company is formed. So it's very, very difficult to form a company with all legal formalities, with all this kind of requirement and this kind of legal documents to be prepared before it. So it's very, very difficult to form the joint stock company. It has a very legal formalities. A lot of legal formalities are there which needs to be fulfilled before it, right? Then we have the second one, which is lack of secrecy. There is a lack of secrecy also, because there are a lot of members. As aap jante hain, there are a lot of members in the case. And when we are saying that lot of members are there, so somehow the secrecy is not maintained. If we see, somehow the secrecy is not maintained because of the lot of members in the joint stock company. Somewhere it is possible that there would be the leakage of the information going on or passing out from the company to outsiders. Then third demerit, impersonal work environment. Because company is different from its members, separation of ownership and management leads to situations in which there is a lack of effort as well as personal involvement on the part of the officers of the company. Because people think that we are different from the company. Suppose if I know that my business and me are same, so I would be doing a lot of good business, because I know that any loss would be arising to the business would just affect directly to me. So somewhere separation of ownership and management leads to the situation which there is a lack of effort as well as personal involvement. So impersonal work environment होता है. लोगों को यही लगता है ultimately कि जब हमारा और कंपनी जो है अलग अलग ही हैं, तो डेफिनेटली हम इतना ज्यादा क्यों एम्फसाइज करें कंपनी के बिजनेस के अंदर. तो एक इम्पर्सनल वर्क एनवायरनमेंट कई बार रिफ्लेक्ट करता है. न्यूमरस रेगुलेशंस. A lot of regulations are there. We have to work as per the company's law 1956 or today's current law, that is Companies Law 2013. So we have to work according to that only. So there are numerous regulations, a lot of regulations are there, and a company has to make its books of accounts, have to just show its books of accounts in the newspaper. Auditing is to be done, certificates various to be made, registrar of companies जिससे registration कराना है, SEBI है जिसकी guidelines माननी है, Companies Act है 2013 जिसकी guidelines, rules, regulations मानने हैं. तो there are numerous regulations, a lot of regulations are basically there. Then delay in decision making, we simply see that there is a delay in decision making also. That means the companies are managed through the board of directors, which is followed by the top management, middle management, and lower level management. Communication as well as approval of various proposals may cause delays, not only in taking decision but also in acting upon them. तो कई बार क्या होता है कि हम लोग जो है कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं अप्रूवल करवाने के लिए, कई बार बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स को भी कम्युनिकेशन करनी होती है, अप्रूवल लेना होता है बहुत ज्यादा अलग अलग जगह से, तो कई बार अप्रूवल लेने के चक्कर में उनका जो डिसीजन होता है वो पेंडिंग हो जाता है, डिसीजन बहुत ज्यादा डिले होता चला जाता है. Then oligarchic management, this is one of the limitation. Oligarchic management, the shareholders are spread all over the country and a very small percentage attend the general meetings. The board of directors enjoy considerable freedom in exercising their power, which they sometimes use even contrary to the interest of the shareholders. This leads to rule by a few. Oligarchic management का मतलब होता है rule by a few. जनरली क्या होता है कि इनको बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स को कंपनीज को ऑफ कोर्स एक एजीएम करनी होती है, मीटिंग करनी होती है, एंड इन द मीटिंग ओनली दे हैव टू टेक ऑल द डिसीजंस. मीटिंग में उन लोगों को सबको डिसीजंस लेने होते हैं. अब जनरली क्या होता है जब मीटिंग के अंदर ही उन लोगों को सबको डिसीजंस वगैरह लेने होते हैं, तो उनका जो एक मैनेजमेंट होता है ना बेटा, उसके अंदर ऑलिगार्किक मैनेजमेंट होता है कि सारे लोग मीटिंग अटेंड नहीं करते, और जब सब लोग मीटिंग अटेंड नहीं करते तो उस केस के अंदर मीटिंग कुछ ही लोग अटेंड करते हैं, कुछ ही लोग अपना वोट देते हैं. तो कहीं ना कहीं शेयर होल्डर्स को, कहीं ना कहीं जो बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स है उनको खुद अकेले रूल करने का मौका मिल जाता है, क्योंकि कम मेंबर्स जुड़ते हैं मीटिंग वगैरह में. तो ऑलिगार्किक मैनेजमेंट भी कई बार देखने को मिलता है इसके अंदर. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इन इंटरेस्ट, कुछ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स भी होते हैं, कई बार मेंबर्स की आपस में बनती नहीं है, मेंबर्स जो डिसीजन लेना चाहते हैं दोज डिसीजंस आर नॉट सूटेबल, and ultimately there are conflicts in the interest of the people, and the employees for example may be interested in higher salaries, and they basically think of that they don't have a proper interest of things, because they people have a conflict, they people watch out as a conflicts in interest. Reason being that membership in the members are not in a position to take out the decisions unanimously, and because of not taking the unanimous decision there may be some of the conflicts that may arises. So these were with the